stolen from me. His name was Daryl, and over 10 years, he stole more than $177 million from thousands of people. But now he faces life in prison at age 55. But that's not the part of the story that stopped me cold. In this episode, I'm sharing a personal story that stopped me in my tracks about money, success, and what it can quietly cost us if we're not paying attention. It's a conversation about pursuit, about the trade-offs we normalize in the name of winning, and a warning straight from Luke 8:14 about how the cares, riches, and pleasures of life can slowly choke out what actually matters. This isn't about business strategy, it's about alignment, and it's an invitation to take an honest look at what we're really building and who we're becoming along the way. Do you want to grow your business and still be everything God has called you to be, but feel stuck in that constant work mode with no real balance? If so, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Garrett, husband, dad of 5, and high-producing Christian agent. I learned how to build a thriving real estate business without sacrificing my faith, my family, or myself. And now I'm here to share what actually works. So if you're ready for proven systems, smarter strategies, and a God-honoring way forward, refill that coffee, dust off that Bible, and let's go. Hey, Christian agent, you already have a brokerage, but what if there was a better fit? One that cares not only about your commission check, but also your heart, your peace, and your presence at home. A brokerage that understands real success isn't just selling homes, it's pursuing excellence to the glory of God in every area of life. I'm looking for 10 high-producing Christian agents who are winning on paper, but feel the tension every day between being fully present at home and producing at work. Agents who are tired of building a business that costs them family dinners, spiritual alignment, and peace. Agents who know their business has become way too loud and they're ready for God to be louder. We're building a brokerage organization grounded in biblical values with proven systems to help you scale without burnout, time-saving strategies that protect your peace, world-class coaching, and direct support from me to help you grow the right way, not just the fast way. So if you're a high-performing agent who's succeeding but knows there has to be a healthier, more sustainable path forward, this isn't a sales call. It's a 20-minute conversation of discernment to see whether this could be a better fit for where God might be leading you next. If this is resonating, don't ignore it. Go to faithfulagent.com and grab a time. That's faithfulagent.com and grab a time. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Faithful Agent Podcast. We're going to be diving into some deep stuff today. So before we get too deep, just to lighten everybody's load a little bit, let me start with a Christian dad joke. Who is the greatest female financier in the Bible? Pharaoh's daughter. She went down to the bank of the Nile and she drew out a little profit. That's actually hilarious. But what isn't hilarious, notice the amazing segue, is a year ago, I literally had $100,000 stolen from me. I had made this investment into a group of ATM machines. There was this ATM fund where all the investors in front of me had been going on for years, had been receiving about $1,100 a month in returns because these ATM machines were going really well. Well, a couple months after I had made that investment, I get an email that just says, Daryl Heller is his name, who is the running this investment, who collected all this money, $177 million. He's not paying anymore. And it kept going and it kept going. And it was over a year, almost a year, where finally it was now, hey, the FBI is coming after him. The SEC is coming after him. And now this group that I invested with, everybody's in lawsuits with this man. He's 55 years old. He stole $177 million. from what we can tell, I literally got an email from the Federal Bureau of Investigation saying I've been identified as a victim in a crime, which that's never happened before. That was a strange email to get. And it went through a lot of what was happening. And so much of it was he stole $177 million. He spent most of it. Right now, he's 55 years old. He's in jail right now, and he's getting ready to go in front of a judge in a couple months, and he faces a literal 100-year sentence, which is a life sentence. I remember sharing that story with my daughter, and I mean, it's a terrible situation, right? Like, of course, I don't want to lose money, and I hate that anybody has lost money, and the reality of sin in our world. But that's not the part of the story that stopped me cold. I was having a conversation with my oldest daughter. You guys know, if you've listened to the show, I've got 5 kids, 8, 6, 4, 2, and 6 months. So I'm having a conversation with my oldest daughter, my 8-year-old Hattie, and I'm telling her what was going on. And we were talking about this because I had just gotten this email about being a victim from the FBI. And she asked me what was going on. And I told her how this man had stolen $100,000 from daddy and lots of money from lots of other people. And it was her response that really hit me. She looked at me and she said, "Daddy, how sad is that? He stole all that money, and so he had all that money, but now," this is what she was thinking, "now when he goes to jail, he's going to spend the rest of his life alone. When he's sick or when he dies, like, who is even going to be there for him?" And that was the response of my 8-year-old daughter. And it really hit me that moment I realized this story wasn't about theft. The story was about pursuit. That question wasn't just about Daryl. It was about all of us. It was especially about high producers. Because, here's the reality. No, most of us aren't stealing, or at least I hope you aren't. Most of us won't go to prison, hopefully, right? But are we guilty of something just as dangerous? Here we saw this man in this story. It's a real life story. This is actually happening right now. He stole $100,000 from me, $177 million from thousands of people. He went after this pursuit of money, this pursuit of the good life, this pursuit of whatever he was in pursuit of. It was certainly of the world, not of the Lord. He was in pursuit of it, and he got it, and he had it for, 10 years, let's say, somewhere around a decade. But now, what did it cost him? He's going to live the rest of his life alone. And who's going to come when he gets sick or when he dies? Are we guilty of something just as dangerous? The truth is, and, I don't know about you all, right? I've been in for almost 12 years, but there's been times in my life, in my business life as an agent, where I've traded presence for production, where I've been gone a lot more than I should be, but I just keep promising my family that this is for you, and so it should be okay. Where we keep chasing more, but we actually already have enough. And we get to this point where we just justify being absent from our family and the people we love and care about because we say, well, I got to provide. And sometimes that's true, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times, isn't it just because we're in pursuit of something more that we don't necessarily need, more that we just want, right? Did Daryl need $177 million to live a good life? Absolutely not. But he was in pursuit of more. He fell into this trap that we need more, we need more, we need more. And he kept trying to hide it, kept trying to hide it. Probably told the people in his life, tried to hide it from them. Whatever he was saying, I have no idea, right? I don't know this man personally. But the reality is, in our world, in our industry, in our lives, we've been talking about how, especially as a high-producing agent, it's hard to find balance at home. The truth is, we are not guilty of stealing money, but we are guilty of stealing time. We don't rob investors, but we rob relationships. And I think the saddest part of that all is that we often call that success. Right? We live and work in this industry that every single month or week or whenever, at the end of the year at Realtor Prom, when we give out awards have nothing to do with how well we've shown up at home. I've told this story before, but a couple years ago, and I won't use his name, the number one agent in our market was the number one agent, right? In our entire market, there's 10,000 agents. And it was widely known that his company that year had actually lost money. But sadder than that, it was widely known that he had actually lost his marriage and wasn't talking to his oldest son anymore. His son was in his 20s. And yet, there he is being celebrated as the number one agent in his market, in our market, taking selfies with people, grabbing drinks, celebrating with people, and he's going home to an empty house. But the industry doesn't know how to celebrate anything else. And if we're honest, and I'm honest, I've fallen prey to that too, to measure success in only one way. Just like Daryl, just getting more and more and more as if the numbers matter, bigger, better, whatever it was, no matter the cost, it was worth paying because I wanted to be the number one agent. I wanted to sell more homes. I wanted to make more money. Well, friends, I was reading in my quiet time 2 days ago. I was reading, and I've been reading through Luke, studying through Luke. And in Luke chapter 8, verse 14, I'm going to actually start a few verses before that. Jesus is talking to a crowd, and then he tells this parable that a sower went out to sow his seed, and as he sowed, some fell along the path. This is verse 5, and was trampled underfoot, and the birds of the air devoured it. And some fell on the rock, and as it grew up, it withered away because it had no moisture. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up with it and choked it. And some fell into good soil and grew and yielded 100-fold. As he said these things, he called out again, he being Jesus, "He who has ears to hear, let him hear." And I love the disciples so much because verse 9, and when the disciples asked him what this parable meant, Jesus tells them, right? The disciples are just like us, like, all right, what in the world does that mean? And so Jesus in his kindness is explaining it. And he comes to verse 14. And this is what struck me. And Jesus says, "And as for what fell among the thorns, they are those who hear, but as they go on their way, they are choked by the cares and riches and pleasures of life, and their fruit does not mature." And it was that part. They're choked by life's cares, by the riches, by the pleasures of this world, and so they do not mature. And I thought about it in my own life, and honestly, I felt that conviction. I have what's called these ESV journal Bibles, and so on the left side is the scripture, on the right side is blank pages. I can journal through it. It's amazing. I have been practicing this historical, age-old process called Lectio Divina. Don't speak Latin, nobody does, but I'm not a Latin scholar. I think that's how you pronounce it, where you first start in your quiet time by being silent and recognizing the presence of God. Then you read a passage, a short one, you read it slowly, and then you journal and reflect on that passage. And then you spend time praying through that passage and ask the Lord to show you what he wants to show you. And then you end by, again, just feeling the presence and overwhelm of the kindness of the Lord as he just loves us no matter where we are. But I read that and I thought, the verse right behind it, the verse right after that, excuse me, is, "And as for that in the good soil, there are those who, hearing the word, hold it fast in an honest and good heart and bear fruit with patience." In verse 8, when he's telling the parable, it says, "Yields 100-fold." And I remember, I'm just being honest with you, friends, that I am sitting there and journaling, and I'm just writing and praying and asking the Lord, "Lord, please make me the good soil, that I'm not allowing these thorns to grow up alongside me, because I live in a world and an industry, and I'm a sinner, and I'm predisposed to these things where I want to pursue the life's cares, riches, and pleasures." Right? Where we can get choked out, right? The thorns can choke out the good root, the cares, the pressure, the responsibility, the anxiety that comes with, certainly being a business owner, but being, for me, a dad, being a husband, right, of young kids, and managing all of those things, the riches and the pleasures that can come, the lifestyle, the comfort, the validation, the accumulation, the scale, the more, all these things that can come alongside us and choke us out. I sincerely was asked the Lord, please let me be good soil. not choked out by these thorns. But brothers and sisters, these are things we have to be aware of and we have to be having conversations about, because the thorns don't kill the plant overnight. They grow alongside of it. In our business, there's nothing evil on its own, right? Going out and selling more homes is an amazing thing. Building a bigger business is an amazing thing. Making more money is an amazing thing. But unchecked growth crowds out the fruit. These thorns that maybe we allow to grow up alongside us, these thorns that the industry obviously or honestly just tries to give us and say, here's the things you should be in pursuit of. Those are thorns. I want us just to ask a couple honest questions. And wherever you are, wherever you're listening, whatever you're doing, just ask yourself some questions. What is your business requiring you to sacrifice right now? Who is quietly paying the price for your ambition? And if nothing changed, where would your relationships be in 10 years? Because I think, and brothers and sisters, remind yourselves of this, what I'm about to say, and remind me often. The most dangerous pursuits are the ones society applauds. Our pastor said it a couple Sundays ago, and I was convicted. He said, are we living a life in pursuit of the applause of man, knowing that when we get to heaven, we're not going to hear, well done, good and faithful servant, because we're going to hear, hey, you already received the applause you were longing for? Or are we trying to live a life that ends with Jesus saying, well done, good and faithful servant? The world might not have applauded everything you did, but I did. The most dangerous pursuits are the ones that society applauds. You know, I think that we've got to reframe success, right? It's not just accumulation, it's stewardship. It's not just financial provision, it's presence. And it's fruit that remains in the people that we choose to pour into. You know, this is not a call to quit your ambition. It's a call to align it. Let me say that again. This isn't a call to quit your ambition. It is a call to align it. The pillars that I'm trying to build my life around, the pillars that I want this podcast to be built around, the pillars that I hope you will take on: structure over hustle, presence without guilt, and faith-aligned success. It's not a call to quit your ambition. You were made to be ambitious. That's good and right and godly, but we must align it with our faith. We must give it structure so we're not just running 24/7. We must know how to put leverage and pieces in place so we can be present with the people that we love. And when we choose not to work so we can be present, we don't feel the guilt that we're not there. You know, Daryl had money. He had a lot of it. He had pleasure. For a little while, he had success by the world's definition. But when that season changed and it caught up to him, because it did and it will, there was nothing left standing. The question isn't what you're building. It's what is it costing you? And if this has stirred something in you, my friends, because it has me, don't rush past it. Sit with it, pray about it, and take an honest look at what's growing alongside your success. And if there's thorns, try to pluck them out. And honestly, if you need space to think through what alignment could look like in your next season of life, that's a conversation I'd love to have. Brothers and sisters, I love you all genuinely. I'm in pursuit of this with you, alongside of you. And it is my hope that as Christians in this industry, our lives, our businesses, our families would look different, and that Christ would receive the glory and honor. I love you, faithful agents. I will see you next week. Hey, Christian agent, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If it resonated, would you take 30 seconds and share it with another agent who's also trying to grow their business without losing their faith, family, or peace? That's how this message spreads. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future episodes. I release new ones each Thursday to help you build success that actually lasts. It genuinely fires me up knowing this podcast is helping you pursue excellence to the glory of God, both at work and at home. I'll meet you back here next week for another episode of The Faithful Agent.